Hello everyone. Today we are going to work on a simple circuit using a switch to turn on and off an LED without using Arduino. Yes, without using Arduino it is going to be fairly simple. Okay, so what we need is a breadboard, we need an LED, we need a resistor, we need a switch. You can see how we place the switch. Now the switch basically works with one connection on this side, one connection on this side. Okay, or one connection on this side, one connection on this side. So that means you can use two terminals of this side and two terminals on this side. So that means this becomes an input and this becomes an output. So one A is an output, this is input, or the other way around. So it hardly matters which way it is. Now, we are not going to use Arduino, so let us use a battery. Let us use a battery. Let's just turn it here. Let us uh, connect the positive side and the negative side. Let us color them properly. Now they are colored. We need to use the switch to power on this LED. So that's not going to be a big problem. We simply need to connect the positive side to the switch. And when the switch is turned on, that means when it is pressed, it should be it should light up the LED. So we are connecting the anode to the positive side using the switch. So if the switch is off, there is nothing going to the LED. The negative side of the LED is connected to the ground. I think that makes the circuit proper. Shall we start the simulation? Now switch is off at the moment. When I press it, this LED gets on. When I switch it off, the LED gets off. Not a big deal, no programming required, and a simple switch. But things get complicated when actually we are using an Arduino. Because Arduino is not just using the switch as a switch, it is using the switch as a gateway to getting a low or a high. And a low or a high on an Arduino is different from whatever we are doing right now. So this is part one of our program. Let us work on the same thing uh, using an Arduino. Okay, how do we do that? First of all, let's stop the simulation. Let's remove the battery now because we don't need the battery. We will be using an Arduino now. So let us bring an Arduino into play. Now the thing is we are using the switch to turn on and off an LED. So that means the switch is working like a digital thing and the LED also is working like a digital thing because we are not increasing the brightness. We are just switching it on and off. Let's connect now. So because it is digital, we'll connect it to any digital pins. So the output of the switch we will connect to our digital pin. So let's connect it. So let me bring it to pin number say 5. I'll connect to pin number 5. So pin number 5 gets connected to the switch. So the output from the switch becomes the input to the Arduino. And the output from the Arduino becomes an input to the LED. So let's give it the input. So let's have something like this and something like this. All right. So that means the okay power needs to be connected. So let's have the power connected. Let's connect power. Power gets connected here, and let's connect ground. The ground gets connected. Okay, let's color them properly. They are okay. Sorry. Okay, now the what we can see is that the power is coming from the 5 volts from the Arduino, and it is going through this rail to the switch, and when the switch is turned on, it actually goes from here, goes the Arduino takes the input on pin number 5, and the output from pin number 4 is going through the LED, through the resistor, to the LED, to the ground. So the connection is complete now. Let's write down the code for it. So, oh, let me remove everything. Sorry, let me remove everything from inside setup and from inside loop. Okay, how many pins? We have an LED pin, which is on pin number 4, I believe, yes. And int switch pin, which is on pin number. Both the pins are set up, and both the pins should be. We need to specify which mode is it they are working on. So LED pin is working on the output mode because output is coming out from the LED pin, and switch is giving input to the Arduino. So we'll say pin mode switch pin comma. All right. Now the code is going to be fairly simple. We are going to use digital input now, uh, read, digital read from a switch pin. And where is it going to be stored? We are going to store it into a variable called var. So I'm going to write int var on one line, and then I'm going to write var is equal to so and so. So this makes it very clear. This line basically creates a variable called var. This reads the switch pin and it stores the thing into var. So var is going to be either high or low. We know that digital read will always give either a high or low. So we are going to use the same high or low to switch on or off the LED. So it is going to be a digital write now. So I'll say digital write in brackets. Which pin? We'll say LED pin, and in the LED pin gets the value of var, which is either going to be a high or a low. So it's fairly simple. Looks simple, but I assure you this is going to be a little complicated. Okay. देखने को तो it is just going to be I take a variable called var, and in var I store the reading from the switch pin. If the switch pin is low, this gets a low, it actually switches off the LED, and if it gets a high, this gets high and it will switch. Let's start the simulation. And when I start the simulation, it is showing, oh god, I did not press the switch. Still it is getting a high. Now what could be the problem? Let us see what is the value of var. Shall we display the value of var? Okay, so let's say serial.println, and let's display the value of var. So we know what is actually var, and I need to start the serial communication. So serial dot begin 9600. Okay. Let's see what is happening now. We'll not look at the LED. I'll look at the serial monitor now. So let's okay. Sorry. Begin is be gone. So let's check that, correct that. Now let's go to the serial monitor and see. It's getting a value of 1. And if I go to press the switch on a number of times, And just go to the code and see what is it. It's still giving a 1. So that means it never gave a 0 there. So that means the switch is always getting giving out a 1. Why is that so? Let me explain. When we actually use a switch like this, it actually, if it is switched on, we know it is a high. So it is this, that is 100% it is going, this particular pin number 5 is going to get a high. But if it is not switched on, that does not mean it is a low. Okay, so that does not mean it is a low. So it is going to be undetermined kind of an input. Alright, so it is going to be undetermined. So that undetermined makes it 1 over there. So undetermined is undetermined. So you understood now. That means when I switch it on, it is a high. But when the switch is off, there is nothing going from here. So when nothing is going, it cannot determine whether it is a high or a low. Here it is determining it to be high, so it is always high. So the LED is always high. What do we do now? Alright, we can do two things. Okay, let's start off with one thing. Okay, so what we should do now is, let me explain. We will put a resistance somewhere on the second terminal. Okay, so that means we'll just take a resistance and put it between the second terminal, yani ke the output terminal of the switch, and the ground. Okay, the output of the switch to going to ground. See what is going to happen now. When I start the simulation now, nothing is happening. This LED is off, and when I press the switch, it gets on. When I leave it, it is off. When I press it, it is on. When I leave it, it becomes off. Okay. Now, what do you think is happening right now? What is happening right now is what happens when the switch. The simulation is still continuing. So I'll explain how things happen. What is terminal 2 getting right now? See, positive is coming from this terminal 2A and going to terminal 1A. So there is, because I have not pressed the switch, so terminal 1 is not getting anything from this side. So it's not getting a positive from this side. What is it actually getting? It is getting the ground from this side. So when it is getting the ground, ground is low. So when you know that what ground means low, so when ground is low, what is pin number 5 getting? Pin number is getting a definite low. It is not undetermined. Now it is getting, definitely it is getting a low. Now what happens when I switch it on? So when I switch it on, what happens is the connection between this 2A and 1A becomes on. So that means these are connected now. So what happens now is that the power now is coming from the positive voltage to this pin, and high is now going to pin number 5. See, earlier when the switch was switched on, sorry, when it was off, it was getting a low from this resistance. But when we press the switch, it is getting a high from this particular terminal. So it is going to come from here, it is going over here, and high will go here. And you know that some of the high will actually go through the resistance back to the ground also. Yes, some of it will go, but some of it will go to, the high will go to pin number 5. I hope things are clear. I'll explain it again. When the switch is turned off, there is no connection between 1A and 2A, so this part is separate. And what is going to happen is this pin is getting a low from the ground through the resistance because it is connected to the ground. And if it is getting a ground, it is getting a low, and you know that switch is turned, the LED becomes off because pin number 5 is getting a low, a definite low. What happens when I press the switch? When I press the switch, see the LED switches on. So when I press the switch, actually what happens is that these two terminals get connected when I press the switch. So when these two are getting connected, what is going to happen is that power from this particular uh, uh, high, that is 5 volts, will actually go to this pin number 5. And as I told you, some of it will go to pin number 5, some of it will go through the resistance to the ground. Yes, but it will get a high on the on pin number 5. Okay. Now I call this as push to on. That means when I push this, it becomes the LED becomes on. If I leave this, the LED becomes off. Let us see a situation where if I press the switch, it should become off, and if I leave the switch, it should become on. I need the reverse now. How do I do the reverse? We actually reverse these two pins. So the resistance I connect to the positive, and the first pin I connected to the ground. See, I've done the opposite now. I've done the opposite now. So what is going to happen now? When the switch is not pressed, it is actually getting a 5 volt from the through the resistance. So it is getting a high. I have not pressed the switch and it is getting a high. Why is it getting a high? Because I have not pressed the switch, so there is no connection here. So the voltage is coming from the 5 volts here through this resistance, and high is going to pin number 5. Let us see what is happening now. I have not pressed the switch and this LED is on. Why is the LED on? Because the switch is not pressed and the voltage is coming from the high through the resistance to this particular pin, and it goes to pin number 5. So it is high. So if it is high, the LED is on. What happens when I press it? So when I press it, the LED gets off. I called this as push to off. What is happening now? When I press the switch now, what happens is that these two terminals get connected, and when these two gets connected, this particular pin is automatically connected to ground, which is low. So when I press the switch, it becomes low. So the LED gets off, like it is off right now. I think you will need to replay this video again and again to figure out that push to on and push to off kind of a situation. So I hope it becomes clear to you. Alright, if there is any problem, just send me some question in the remarks, in the comments. So the comments are open. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you guys.